everybody, it's Lisa Burningham. Today I'm creating several affordable high-end DIYs. I'm showing you how to design a beautiful Christmas mantelscape as well and how to put it all together. Incorporating candlelight to the mantelscape from the firebox is a great way to continue that warm glow that the fireplace brings. I'm going to create some Dollar Tree candlesticks. I'm going to get a total of 8 vases, 4 large and 4 medium. I took 2 large vases, flipped one over, added a generous amount of hot glue, and then pressed the vases firmly together for 10 seconds so they'd adhere well together. I repeated this process with the remaining vases. I wanted this to look like one continuous cylinder, so I needed to cover up the seam where I put the first vase on top of the second vase. I'm going to do that with some ribbon that I purchased at Michael's. I got several varieties. I took the widest gold ribbon first, hot glued the end of the ribbon, and wrapped it around the center. I added hot glue as I went, and then added a generous amount of hot glue to the end to make it stick well. Next, I took the thinner white ribbon, added the hot glue to the center of the gold ribbon, and wrapped the ribbon around the center. The third layer is a sparkly polka dot ribbon. Again, I added the hot glue to the ribbon and laid it around the center of the 2 underlying ribbons, hot gluing as I went. The final layer is this beaded garland that I purchased at Walmart. I took a segment of this garland, I put some hot glue on the end of the first bead, placed it in the center of my ribbons, and then just hot glued it to the center all the way around the perimeter of my candlestick, and then added a bit of hot glue to the end to make sure that everything stuck together. Now you could leave it without this center part. It's beautiful just as is. However, I like to go above and beyond, and so I'm going to add a centerpiece to the ribbons. I purchased these beautiful poinsettias at Michael's. They're white with a gorgeous gold sparkly tip. I'm going to pull the poinsettia off of the stem, and then I'm going to take the leaf and pull that off the stem as well. There's a plastic portion at the bottom of the leaf, and I'm going to pull that off. That way the leaf can lay flat. I'm also taking some of this garland, and this is just Dollar Tree garland. I'm going to cut off about a 5-inch segment of it and curve it slightly. I hot glued the back of the garland segment and pressed it firmly to the center of my candlestick. Next, I took my flattened leaf, added hot glue to the back of the leaf, and pressed it to the candlestick. And finally, I added a generous amount of hot glue to the back portion of my white and gold poinsettia and pressed it to the center. The final touch is to add a little sparkle. You've got to have a little sparkle, especially at Christmas time. I got these gold gem ornaments at Target for $3. I pushed my poinsettia through the center of the string ornament hanger so the gem would be able to hang securely from the poinsettia. I also added a sprig of gold berries for some dimension. I simply pressed them into the stem, into the garland, and it stayed in place. And then I repeated the exact same steps for the remaining 3 candlesticks. In the center of my vases, I'm going to be placing in some battery-operated flicker flame candles. This is key because that way I don't have to turn those candles on every single night. They will come on by themselves and I don't have to do a thing. I placed the taller candles on each end and the medium-sized candlesticks towards the inside. These are gorgeous, don't you think? And I love how it looks like that candle is just magically hovering inside. I like a little magic at Christmas time, don't you? They were also extremely easy to make, and since we use those Dollar Tree vases, it's very affordable. If you don't have a fireplace mantle, these will look beautiful on a side table or as a centerpiece on your dining table. I rounded up an amazing and talented group of ladies to participate with me in this Christmas fireplace mantle collaboration. All of these ladies are going to be showing you how they decorate their fireplace mantle for Christmas. I know that they will have some beautiful decor for you to see. Be sure to check out each one of their channels. I will leave a link to the playlist in my description box below so you can see each one of the decorations that they did. I am continuing to use that copper and gold color scheme that I've used to the rest of my house. I'm going to bring that color scheme into this garland today. Now, let me tell you, trying to find some copper Christmas ornaments is not an easy task. So I ended up just making some of my own. The technique that I'm going to use is called hydro dipping. Now, a while back, I created a vase with some white, gray, and gold paint. Today, I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to bring in that color scheme of the copper, gold, and white into some ornaments. What I did was I took a container and I filled it up with some water, about 3/4 of the way full. And then I selected my paints. I chose a rose copper Martha Stewart spray paint that I purchased at Michael's, and I also got a white gloss Rustoleum spray paint. When you select your paint, make sure that it is an oil-based spray paint. That's not hard to do because most spray paints are oil-based. However, if it is water-based, it will dissolve into the water. So make sure that it is an oil-based spray paint. What I did was I alternated the colors in my water. I sprayed the paint for about 3 seconds and then switched to the other color of paint and sprayed it for an additional 3 seconds. This will create a bullseye. I continued to do this about 10 times. Then I took my ornament and dipped it into the paint and swirled it around. The paint will cling to the ornament as you gently roll it around in the paint. Since I created several ornaments, I did have to repeat the spray painting process once more so there would be an ample amount of paint for each ornament. I hung them from a wire wreath holder outside and let them dry completely, which took several hours. Talk about an easy, affordable way to get some custom pieces of Christmas decor. I love the marbled effect the hydro dipping added to these ornaments. They bring in the copper color and add a custom look to my garland. Speaking of garland, let's talk about how I put mine together. My personal preference is a big, thick, beefy garland. The thicker the better. So I took 2 medium-sized garlands and I intertwined them together to get one lush garland. I also took 3 strings of Christmas lights. Yes, 3. I wanted it to shine bright. And I added those around the garland as well. To secure my garland to my mantle, I took some floral wire and I wrapped it around the garland and left a little loop at the top, and then I used 3 command hooks, 1 on each side and then 1 in the center, and then I hooked that wire from the garland onto the command hook to keep it securely onto the mantle. I started out weaving some gold mesh ribbon around the garland. I simply wrapped it around. Next, I got a copper ribbon and wrapped that around the garland as well. I added some large poinsettias to the top, sides, and the center. I also added in some large feather ornaments that I made several years ago. I wanted to add some hanging elements to my garland, and as you saw before in my foyer table, I used some terrariums and some of those gold gems. I had some leftover terrariums and I knew that they would be perfect for this particular mantle design. Inside of my terrarium, I decided to add some snow. I used some Dollar Tree bath salts. I love how this resembles coarse snow, plus it smells really good. Mine smells like vanilla, so not only does it look good, but it smells good. I put a candle in the center of the snow. It's a battery operated candle. Again, it will come on by itself every single night, so I don't have to turn it on. And then to hang them, I got some fishing line. I threaded the fishing line through the top circle in the terrarium and then tied it into several knots. And on the opposite end, it is a little heavier, so I needed to secure it to the mantle really well. So I tied it to the command hooks that were on the back. That way it can hang and I don't worry about it falling off because it's too heavy. The second element is going to be some more of those gold gems that I got at Target. Again, I took that fishing line and I poked it through the hole in the top of the gem, tied it into a knot, and then on the opposite end, I tied the fishing line around an ornament hook. That way I can hang it at any location on my garland. At this point, I just began adding ornaments and more poinsettias and some pine cones, some pretty reflective crystals, and some gold berries. The final addition that I'm making is this plate. This is a keepsake plate. I got it from my great-grandfather several years ago. It's important to me and it's gonna take center stage. It does every single year because it just has some sentimental meaning to me. So that's gonna be right in the center. I am in love with the way that this garland turned out. It's such a statement piece in this room. The DIYs add a classy touch while keeping the costs down. One of my favorite things to do is to turn the lights off at night, sit on the couch, and admire the glow. I think it's more impressive with the lights dimmed. The sparkles from the individual pieces shine, and the flicker from the candles add movement and make this piece come alive. Did you have a favorite part of this design? I would love to know, so please leave me a comment below. I hope you enjoyed creating this Christmas decor with me today, and hopefully you got some inspiration. Thank you so much for watching.